Just do that.
All right, we are recording. Welcome. Bam.
Yeah, let me hit the presenter mode. All right, so here we are. And what we decided to do today was just take our 101 and just extend it into the head trash to a deeper level. And what we would like to do today and is have you guys be very vocal, either in the chat box or we'll just unmute yourself and talk. So what we'd like to start is right now everybody's unmuted from our end, from Tom's end. And so if you have something to say, just unmute yourself and just say Steve or Tom, and we'll let it bring out because everybody has crap between their ears here and there. And it doesn't matter how good you think you are, it happens. I mean, we've done about 10 total. I've gotten 10 sets of pictures this year, and I've landed one lousy put a pump in for $1,100 job. I've had 9 people tell me not get back to me, and I know the reason because I'm too high priced. And it happens. I go through stretches like this, and I even start to question my own pricing. I know. Can you believe I just said that? But last year at this time, I went back and checked. I only had one job. It was a good one, a $40,000 job in the bank, but we have 0 jobs. Now, lucky for us, we have a huge maintenance thing ahead of us. So, I got it from here to May, plenty of work. So I got a few months to figure this thing out. But I am, I get filled with head trash too. So what I'd like to do is hear maybe some more head trash from you guys. Uh, uh, so fire away. Anybody out there want to just speak up and tell me what's bothering you today? Time to take a truth pill, man. I just want to hear what you got that's going on between your ears that you want to bring up to the group. Is this
I'll go in.
201? Okay, who is this?
It's Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I made a post earlier today, and I'm kind of in the same situation as you, Steve. Is we've given some, gotten into some budget and pricing, and I'm just going, am I too expensive, or are people just shopping around? I mean, I kind of have that own. I really haven't closed anything. I think I've had 12 calls and no sales off those yet. Although a couple probably will go through. I feel. Um, but today I approached this situation a little different, and I felt like this. I didn't want to bring into budget until I felt like this homeowner was just really just chomping at the bit, feeling like I had the solution for him, and I never really got to that point. So I kind of delayed bringing up the budget and just told him to do the leak test on a pond and get back with me because I just didn't feel, I guess, I don't know, confident. I don't know if it was because of my head trash that I thought he was going to say no or what, but I don't know. Is this making sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Do you figure out what the problem is? What do you think the issue is? Because I think I figured out why. I'm not spending enough time with pain. I mean, I'm sitting here teaching this course, and I can tell you, I get impatient when someone sends me, you know, when someone sends me this and says her pond's leak and she has no idea why, and she's unwilling to entertain something more than a few $100. I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do with this? Somebody, what? Tell me. So Mark Willoughby, do you have a? I'm just pulling you out of the crowd. First off, I hope you're on. Are you on, Mark Willoughby? Somebody unmute yourself and tell me what do you do with this when this person is thinking, you know, $1,000 to try to fix some leak that's half liner, half concrete. Mark King, it looks like you unmuted yourself, so talk. Yeah, so in the chat box, it's they blow it up. There's not much you can be done. But I tell you, when you get picture after picture like this, um, and they just want you to do the impossible for no money, you just get discouraged. And I know that. And it runs in cycles. I mean, I find that I go from freaking out, not busy enough, to all of a sudden 10 people want me at the same time, and I'm just trying to juggle to see if I can remember all these freaking stories. So it does get a little, it's crazy, but that's what they call entrepreneurship. That's why everybody's not in business because this stuff, you know, it's not easy. I mean, Barb says just say the word next, but you can't do what you can't do for $1,000. So,
Well,
and
Steve,
Travis,
I'm
go ahead.
I'm dealing with the head trash, with Simplify Painting on our end here with coaching up Kelsey and stuff. And I'm not sure if she's on here yet, but we're a brand new company. I'm spending thousands of dollars a month, and we haven't done one job yet. And we're expensive, and we're trying to come out of the gate and position ourselves properly. And so I don't want to come out and position myself as the cheap guy. So I'd rather wait to do our first job than come out of the gate and be cheap. So, we're all dealing with the same kind of head trash. We're
So,
tempted to, you second guess what you know that you know.
so Jennifer on the chat box says she's the office person. Jennifer, it always says Jennifer. Tell me, type in there what company you're with. She says, I struggle with understanding the person's reaction to our pricing, but also knowing our company. Oh, Prestige One. You're with Dylan. Sorry, Roy. Does spot on. In other words, you're a very high-end company, and they just freak out when you tell them you want high-end money.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of really weird if you think about it. I'm Mr. Nordstrom's, right? And I tell everybody I don't want to be the Kmart. At least the people walking into Nordstrom's, they know they're about to pay top dollar for top products and service. But when they call me, or they call you, Dylan or Jennifer, they don't necessarily know you're top dollar. And it was funny, one of our discussions with creating our new website a year and a half ago, was we wanted to have a website that did smell of top dollar, and not to discourage people from calling me like I could never afford you, but I wanted them to know that they're not calling the Kmarts of the world. So, and like most of you are saying, you just keep moving and go on and on and on. I mean, last year I did 210 of these pictures, okay, and I turned 28% of them into money. So, that's a boatload of people that said no thank you to me because of, we weren't a good fit. And when I say not a good fit, generally it's the money. I mean, It's almost always the money with me.
Steve, Kyle was going to share a little bit about the head trash.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a pretty good head trash story. So a little bit less than a year ago, I was competing in my last dive meet ever, like kind of wrapping up my NCAA diving career. I was at the national championships, and it was the platform event, the 10-meter platform event. And my first 5 dives were the best I'd ever done. I think I was, you need top 16 to be All-American, and I was set to get about 11th, I think. And I get up there for my last dive, and I walk into the tower, and I look over, and I just start thinking about, my warm-up. Maybe my warm-up wasn't good enough. Did I practice enough for this? I had hit the board the day before, so then my brain just told my heel to start really hurting a lot. And instead of getting, I think I needed 4s or 5s to be an All-American, and then I just somehow talked myself out of it, and I ended up getting 2s. I made a pretty humorous flop. I guess it was humorous for everyone in the stands, but kind of, it's weird how sometimes you can be your worst enemy. You're like set up to do exactly what you want to do, and then your brain just starts going and going and going, and it'll talk you out of it.
So what happened, Kyle, I believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is somewhere in your comfort zone, you're comfortable just being out of the money. and you were about to be in the money big time, a place you've never been on a national scale before. And so it's almost like you self-sabotaged yourself to get back to your comfort zone, which is
Exactly.
just on the outside. Does that sound right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I think the best place I had gotten before that was 18th or whatever, and I was set up to get, I don't know, 12th or 13th, and I maybe I felt like I didn't belong there, or I didn't work hard enough to get there, or whatever. My head was all over the place. I wasn't really focused on doing what it was doing. I was, talking myself out of it.
And I was there to personally witness this event. And the same thing happened to me exactly when I was your age, my senior year. And I blew my last dive, the same thing. The second you blew that dive, Jared, I'm like, you did exactly what I did. We put ourselves right back where we're comfortable, whether it's
Exactly,
subconsciously or whatever. So
exactly.
right now, what are you doing and how do you deal with head trash? Because I know you're hanging around with some heavy hitting actors and actresses.
Yeah, so I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I spend about half my days working with CSA and Tom and Steve, and then the other half auditioning, going to, auditions for commercials, Snickers, I don't know, all these big companies, and I'm sitting in the audition room, and I've kind of had to learn. I've had to learn to put the head trash out of my mind. I'm sitting looking at all these other actors, who look exactly like me. I'm thinking maybe they have more schooling, or maybe they studied the script more, maybe they know the lines more. Just kind of going over all the worst case scenarios in my brain. But I've kind of talked myself into putting all that out of my mind, and really focusing on just doing it.
Well, it's got to be daunting, because when you get up there to act, I mean, you have to convince yourself first, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Because you can't fool yourself. And it's the same thing, when you're out there trying to sell whatever your profession is. They can smell weakness out there.
Right. You got to be the first one to believe it.
Absolutely. Anybody else have something they'd like to share in the head trash department out there? And someone with a microphone? Speak up if you do. All right, Tom, let's move on to.
Yeah. So guys, we touched on this in 101. We wanted to just have more of an open dialogue with you guys about this in 201. But this whole identity thing is huge because you really have to take some time and really think about the type of person that you want to be. Who do I really want to be? Because your current behavior is a reflection of who you believe that you are deep down. Remember, your identity is who you believe you are. And so everything you're doing now, good or bad, the results and all that is a direct result of how you view yourself, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. All right. So, if you're going to change your identity or beliefs about who you are, like I said, you got to decide number one, who you want to be, and then go ahead and go to the next slide, Steve. Here's a couple, um, here's just a quick tactic of how to, I love that picture, by the way, of how you can get to the person that you want to be. And it's, if you guys Google a guy named James Clear, he's an author and he wrote a really good article on identity-based habits. Okay, and it's basically teaching yourself how to get small wins every day that move you in the direction of who you want to be. So instead of saying I'm going to sell 10 jobs this week, you would back it up from there and just say, hey, listen, I'm the type of person. So when you tell that to yourself, you're basically saying, this is my new identity, this is who I am. I'm the type of guy who boldly pre-qualifies every lead. Okay, and when you do that, you begin to retrain your brain. So Tom Smith, I know you're on here, and I used you last week as an example we were talking about, but this is the same thing. Tom Smith said to himself um, last September at the summit, basically at some point in time, you said, listen, I'm the type of guy who eats right and moves his body. Okay, yeah, you had a weight goal, and that was good, but ultimately, you had to redefine who you were as a person. And so that's what I want to encourage you all with is the things, determine where you want to go, who you want to be, and then find a way to get those little wins. So in this case, if I'm the type of guy who pre-qualifies everybody, okay, well, what do I need to do just to get a small win each day? And it could simply just be going, all right, I'm going to schedule a time every day to practice this. Or Jack weighed in the Facebook group the other day when we were kind of talking about some of this stuff. Yeah, I forget who it was with. I think it was John Loudon. He was talking to you, buddy, and he says, man, you got to do 10 shin fus a week role plays with people at minimum. Okay, those are the small wins that are going to make this stuff second nature, so that deep down you truly believe that you are that person who pre-qualifies like that, or whatever thing you're trying to achieve. So what are you guys' thoughts on that? Share with me what you guys do. Uh,
Hey Tom,
questions you? Yeah, go ahead.
it's Derek.
Hey, buddy.
Um, hey, I know a lot of you guys in the group, and there's several here that I haven't met yet. The ones that do know me know that I talk a lot. But I have to get myself super jazzed before I make any phone calls in the morning. I truly have to do incantations and like get myself psyched up. I don't know why. Once I make the first one, I'm good, but I just have to like truly just like start jumping up and down and say, this is going to be the most amazing phone call I've ever had. This customer is really going to accept what I have to say. And I just literally shout in the backyard. My neighbors probably don't have a clue to what I'm doing, but they're like, this guy screams every morning about phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the only way I can do it. Otherwise, I'll just put it off, and I won't.
So Barbie says she gets up and she exercises like she imagines an executive would do, and then she dresses like an executive, and then she goes to work and she acts like she dresses, and she acts the part. So I think that's perfect, Barbie. A lot of us, well, some of us like me, I work out of my house, so I don't necessarily have to dress up. You know, I can work in my pajamas all day. In fact, I did today too. But normally, I'm like you. I like to hike in the morning with the dog, shower, get dressed up, and I feel like I'm somebody. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
whatever your ritual is to get your ass in gear, do it. So, anything else to share? And if you can share after this, what I do want to do with it, with any kind of luck, I want Mike Carrillo would like to do a role play in public here. So, Mike, you got your
Can you hear
microphone
me?
up? Yeah, I got you, Mike Carrillo. I know Mike
Perfect.
is he's was freaking out because his mic doesn't always work. So, Mike, what I'd like to do with you, Mike Carrillo first gave me this, and he's just sent this to me to practice about a leak in a pond on this pond right here. So I'm going to give you the choice, Mike. You can use that picture or this picture, both pond leaks, and I'll play it any way I feel like it. But which picture do you want?
Go with the first one.
Okay, here we go. So I'm the customer, Mike of Premier Ponds, and I'm going to say hello.
Hi, this is Mike with Premier Ponds. I'm calling for Steve.
Yeah. Hey, Mike. Hey, did you get that picture of the pond I sent you?
Yeah, actually, that's why I'm calling. I got it up on my computer screen. Is this a good time to talk?
Yeah, it's a fantastic pond, isn't it?
It is, but you sent it to me for a reason, so I'd like to hear all about it.
Well, it leaks. That's the main problem. As you see, the waterfall's perfect, but it leaks. And I did the test you told me to do, and it only leaks when it's running. And when it's not running, it's perfect.
Okay. How much water are you losing?
About 4 inches a day.
All right. And how long has this been happening for?
Oh, pretty much since it was built. You know, I had a neighbor friend of mine who was a landscaper, and he built it about 3 years ago, and pretty much the whole time. But he doesn't want to come back to fix it.
Really? Why's that?
Well, he just said he gave me a good deal on it. You know, he paid $5,000 for the whole thing, and he says that warranty wasn't included.
Interesting. So 4 inches a day, that's it's a good bit of water. What are you doing about it?
I drag the garden hose over there and I fill it up every morning.
Every morning?
Yep.
And if you were to let it go a few days, then what?
Well, one time I went out of town. I came back, and about 4 or 5 days later, and the pump sits just on the bottom, so it only had about 5 or 6 inches of water left in the the fish were still alive. I don't know how, but they were flapping around in 5 or 6 inches of water. So I guess it'll go down to zero if I let it go long enough.
Wow. Geez. So I mean, the fish made it though.
Yeah, they all lived.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty good. We've heard of worse. So, and have you tried to fix the leak?
Well, I moved a few of the rocks around, and it's got them mostly cemented in up there. So I'm not even sure if there's a liner or what the deal is up there.
What about the pond? Do you know if there's liner or is that all concrete?
I think it's concrete, but I didn't really watch them.
Got it. So, aside from the leak, is there? I mean, looking at the pond, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, it's pretty awesome. Like I said, I love that shooting fountain up there. So
Yeah, like
I think it's
okay.
good. I'd like to get the leak fixed.
No, I understand. Listen, I'm a pretty good pond guy. I've been doing this for quite a while. Just got a little bit of a problem here.
And what is that?
Well, not the greatest salesman. I mean, I know, you're talking about fixing a leak, but you had said you had paid $5,000 to have this whole thing built. Are you
Yeah,
sitting down?
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what it cost to build, $5,000. I thought that was a lot.
Yeah. Well, to fix your leak, we're double.
What do you mean double?
Well, you said the pond's holding the water, so in order to make sure you don't have a leak anymore, to replace your plumbing in that entire stream, a jackhammering the rock out and rebuilding it, we're talking $10,000.
Really?
Does that number scare you?
Yes, it does. My wife she loves this pond, but she'll never let me spend $10,000 to fix it. So, isn't there something else you could do? Don't they have spray stuff that'll fix it?
Now, I don't dabble with that, so I don't want to try to practice something in your backyard that I'm not comfortable with.
Okay, is there another choice?
Yeah, actually, I do. It would mean cutting your stream down in half. But I could rebuild the same waterfall about half the size for half the money.
So you mean it's not going to start up top? It's going to start somewhere in the middle for $5,000?
That's right. That's right.
Well, the whole thing's only like 8 feet. So you want to do 4 feet of it for $5,000?
Well, I also have to repair the part that I'm abandoning and make it look like something. Concrete is pretty tough to work with.
What would you make it look like?
Have you seen my website?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's why I'm calling you.
Okay. I mean, there's a few different waterfall styles there, so I'd certainly want to find out what type of look you're after, and we'll build it accordingly.
I like the one with the spillway bowl. Can you put a spillway bowl in there for $5,000?
I could do that. I absolutely could.
I think my wife would go for something like that.
And so you've discussed numbers with her then?
Well, not really, but I know what she's going to say to $10,000, so I'm not even going to waste her time with that. But for $5,000, and we can get a spillway bowl somewhere halfway up that waterfall, I think she'd like that, and I'm pretty sure we could do that.
Okay. I mean, I am looking at a picture here and been doing this for quite a while. I'm pretty confident that I can do what we're talking about. But if I come out there and see something that I'm not seeing in the picture, it rarely happens, but if it does, I see something that'll prevent me from doing the spillway bowl for $5,000. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I'm going to let you know that either I can't do it or the price has got to be adjusted. Are you okay with me being honest with you?
Well, yeah, I don't want you to come out and lie like my neighbor did when he built the thing. So, no, I'd like you to be honest with me.
I most certainly would. And in return, I would ask the same of you. You could be honest with me. I mean, if I explain what I'm talking to you now over the phone, and it just doesn't sound good to you, I'm not the right guy or we're not the right company, just tell me no. As much as I want a yes and to do the job, I just, in the past, I've heard maybe or I'll think about it. And, that's just really a slow no. It's just people trying not to hurt my feelings. And, I'm okay with hurt feelings. And, I don't want to chase you around afterwards and call you. And I don't think you want to be chased around. So could you also be honest with me?
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth when you get here. Sure, just come on over.
Perfect. Now, you had mentioned your wife, and she's okay with it. I definitely want to meet with the two of you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And just one last order of business. We do have a $200 consultation charge just in case the whole thing blows up and doesn't work out. But you have the power to decide whether that's the consultation fee or part of the deposit.
Okay, so in other words, it's just, if we say yes, there's no $200. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, sure. Come on out before I go to work tomorrow. I leave about 7:30 in the morning.
Okay. I'm not available that early, but I can tell you a few other times, and hopefully we can connect on one of them.
Well, give me another one. Maybe lunch hour. I might be able to get home for lunch, and my wife will do the same.
Yeah, any day during the week between 10 and 2, or on weekends after 9.
That's fine. I'll see you Wednesday at lunchtime. Call it noon.
Great. I look forward to meeting you.
Thanks. All right, Mike, how'd you do? And everybody weigh in. This is 201, baby. Give it to them. I want everybody who's listening weigh in. You get it from 1 to 10.
Dave, he did better than you do.
Who said that, Charlie?
Yes.
I'm trying to get, Charlie, I'm trying to get you to speak up with your head trash and your pain and total silence. But boy, you couldn't wait to get that remark out, could you?
he knocked it out of the park.
All right, come on, what else? Roy said he's putting me to sleep. What do you mean by that, Roy? Do you have a mic?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go. Yeah,
It was
Roy.
so smooth and so monotone and just kept it going, and he just stated one. He was in control the whole time, and he was just letting you talk, and he was keeping the pauses, waiting for you to answer, and it was putting me to sleep because it was so smooth. It was like, really a calm feel.
So I criticized Mike about being so goddamn slow. I'm like, Mike, you got to speed it up. You got to speed it up. But let me tell you something what Mike did. And I'm talking about Mike like he's not listening, right? But did you feel the power of silence? I mean, everybody in this group, did you feel? We have a whole webinar on that, by the way, coming your way. To me, it's
Absolutely.
too slow, but the power of silence was killing me.
Mm-hmm.
But if Mike just shuts up, what has to happen? I have to talk. Because we're human beings. Somebody has to spew diarrhea at all times. And if you shut your mouth, it's going to be the customer.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What if the leak was from a rodent in the plumbing? Was he
I
going
had said that we were going to replace the plumbing.
So that included the bowl, the half stream, and the plumbing.
Yeah, I mean, he said the pump is at the bottom, so it's just going to be a new plumbing line going up into the stream.
Oh, okay.
Or the bowl, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, and I chose this one, Steve, just real quick. I chose this one because I was actually afraid of this, and it happened. I couldn't give a range because I assumed you were just going to want the leak fixed, but then you asked if I had anything less, and I came up with half the stream, which I don't know what you would have done there, and that's what I want to hear because I was having trouble giving a range if they wanted the leak fixed. But going with the spillway bowl is an option. There's a range right there. You can go, small versus the whole stream. And I didn't do that at first, but you kind of steered me in that direction.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I was just kind of winging it as I was going along myself. But I mean, I'd put the spillway bowl up there for $5,000, throw a liner in it, and figure it all out. Everybody here could have figured it out and walked away with $2,500 in a day, right? If not 3,000 in a day.
Yeah.
And the easy way too. So, well, let me throw one more thing out there. And so, Mike, that was good. That was excellent. And everybody in the chat box was very complimentary towards you. And the reason is Mike practices more than the whole group put together, probably. How many times have you practiced Shin Fu, Mike?
I just started practicing again the last week, but last year I practiced quite a bit, and I'm going to get back into practicing quite a bit. Probably, 100 times.
100 times, okay.
Yeah.
So anybody else in the group here practice 100 times? And of the and these are practices. These aren't real ones. These are practice. 100 Shin Fus. He's even emailing me when I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. This picture, Steve, I want to practice Shin Fu at Pond League. And he puts in a parentheses, it's not real. He just wants to practice. So what you're hearing is him practicing.
Hey, one thing I want to weigh in, and I threw way back in the comments, Mike, obviously killer job and stuff. There was at one point, I forget what it was, but Steve asked you, hey, can you do that? And do you remember what I'm talking about?
Spillway bowl.
Was that what it was? And when a customer asks us that, our first tendency is to go, yeah, we can do that. And I know I'll just speak for me. My tendency is to go, yeah, we can do that. And I jump all over it and I pounce. And what I try to do when I'm focused and dialed in is I'll say something to the extent of, if I were able to do that, what would we do next? Because it seemed like Steve got really excited about it.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's really cool. And can you guys do that? Steve, if I were able to do that, what would we do next? And he might just say, let's just do it.
Got it.
And what would happen next? Right. It's when they throw out that something, say, great, if I did that, what would happen next?
Yep.
Andrew and Mike watched this. We were out on last year before. I gave somebody, we were cleaning their pond out. We were all there, and they wanted to redo the stream. It was 10 grand. Leave us a proposal. And I said, well, if I write up a proposal right now and give it to you, what will happen next? And you know what she said? She goes, well, then we'll just think about it. I said, I'd rather not kill a tree. When you're serious and you want to spend the 10 grand to do the stream, I said a little more smooth than what I'm saying now, I'll write it up. But there's no sense me writing it up if you're not going to do it. So I just wasn't going to be pushed to do that.
Yep.
Okay, and Mark from Splash says next the arbitrary 5,000 budget would be increased, and by time, what happens, Mike, when you guys go anywhere for any reason? What happens to the money?
Well, we collect it. I mean,
it grows. Every time you go out there, you will get lights, you will get plants, you will get God knows whatever it is, automatic fill valve or something, but it grows. The $5,000 is going to get Mike in the door, and no matter who goes out there, Sean, Andrew, or Mike, they're going to walk away with $8 grand, right? They will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So we have enough time for somebody to role play. If somebody wants to step up to the plate and give this pond right here a shot. And we don't have to play it like I only have $1,000. I won't do that to you.
Steve, I'll do it if nobody else wants to.
Is there who's talking?
It's Derek.
Okay, Derek. So hold on, Derek. Because Derek loves this stuff. Is there somebody else out there that wants to role play, but is too scared to go? Yes, I'll do it. This is your shot.
Somebody take a risk.
All right, Brian Hoagland, you got a microphone?
I do.
All right, so let's just go. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it, but you're always in the spotlight, always practicing. I'm trying to draw somebody out. And everybody listen to me, you will be drawn out. okay, at some point this year, we write down everybody who role plays. So Curtis King, even, I know you're brand new and I know you're listening. I know right now you're changing your underwear, but we're coming after you one day. You hear me? So Brian, here it is. The pond
Okay.
leaks, and the phone rings. I'm going to say hello.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Steve. This is Brian Hoagland with Hoaglandscape. How you doing?
Good, good, good. Did you get the picture of the pond I sent you?
I sure did. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I had it renovated last year, but it still leaks.
Yeah. What's going on there? It's I see the water level's really low. What's going? Tell me the story behind that, Steve.
Well, but when we turned it off in the springtime, it was full, and now it's where you see it. And a year ago, I had a concrete company come in and renovate it, and it didn't really do anything.
Wow. So what's gone on since then?
Nothing. I just turned everything off, and it's leaked all the way down to the bottom. I probably got about a dozen little fish swirling around on the bottom somewhere.
So how are you keeping those alive, Steve?
Oh, I don't know. I really hadn't even seen them. I'm assuming they're in there somewhere.
Okay. Okay. Well, tell me about when it started leaking and what's the challenge has been during this.
Well, we had it built about 10 or 12 years ago, and it was great for the first 6 or 7, and 3 or 4 started leaking, and we thought we had a solution last year, but that was no good. So I don't really know what to do next. And that's why I decided I'm not calling a concrete company. I'm calling a real pond guy. I found your website, and here we are.
Okay. Okay. Well, we can definitely help you. I just want to get to the bottom of it. When you say it was leaking, did it go all the way to the bottom like that from the start?
Well, I never let it go this long, but I'm just so tired of it. I just want to once and for all, whatever it takes, I want to get it fixed.
Okay. Well, we can definitely fix it, Steve. Tell me what else. How do you feel about the pond, the looks of it?
Well, when it's full of water, it looks pretty nice, but now that it's empty, it looks just terrible. And I saw your pictures on your website, and it don't look nothing like your pictures. So I'd like one of your nice pictures right there in my backyard.
Okay, okay, we can do that, Steve. And some of that, one of the biggest differences is we don't use concrete. How would you feel about that?
Oh, no, the concrete didn't work at all, so I'd love that.
Fantastic. Well, we could definitely help you there. Steve, I'm a really good pond guy. I've got a lot of experience, and we can do this job. We can fix it up. But there's a scale, price-wise. You're looking, if we totally blew it up, we're probably looking at about 25 grand. If you want to make it functional and kind of halfway, well, not halfway, but make it look good, but just not quite as Taj Mahal like, you're probably looking in the 15 range. Where do you feel comfortable?
My wife is gone. She's gone to Europe for a month, and you know what I want to do, Brian? I want to surprise her with a new pond. So she's going to be gone the whole month of July. So I want to get it done for her. So anywhere in between those two is okay with me, depending on what I get.
Well, you'll get a lot for that, Steve. We'll totally revamp it with more realistic boulders so you don't have that flat look, no concrete, some plantings, fish, even if you've lost your fish, so we can really take care of that for you.
Yeah, can you do it in the month of July, like early on, to make sure it's all done?
Absolutely. We can meet that deadline. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's do it. What do we do?
Well, I'd love to meet with you, but I'll tell you something. If I see something that prevents me from fixing the problem, from making this your wife's dream, I'm going to be upfront with you, and I'm going to let you know. Could you return the favor and just give me a yes or no if whether we do the job or not? Because a lot of times people say, well, I'm going to think about it, and what they really mean is no. So how do you feel about that, Steve? Can you be honest with me?
Yeah, I'll tell you no. If I don't like you, or if I don't think, mostly I need to make sure it gets done in July, but so I'd like to get the thing scheduled so we can get it going.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Well, what I'd like to do in the perfect scenario is I'd like to meet both decision makers. But it sounds like you want to surprise your wife. So do you want to not have her in on our consultation?
Yeah, I don't want her to have any part of it. So it's just going to have to be me and you. And she's away all next week too. So anytime next week, I'm retired. So anytime next week, I want you to pop on by and take a look at it and just leave me a proposal in the mailbox or something.
Uh, well, I really would want to meet you face to face. So let's do that because I want to make sure we're on the same page. We get off to a good start, have a good rapport and communication. So let's meet face to face.
Okay. Sure. How about next Wednesday at lunchtime?
Lunchtime works for me. That would be fine. Steve, one more thing. I do have a $150 consultation fee in case everything blew up. We weren't able to do the job at the price you want that we've agreed to. I'll just walk away, but I would have to charge the $150 consultation fee. But it goes to any future work you do with us. Or if you want to sign the contract that day, obviously there's no consultation fee. I'll just pick up the deposit and we'll roll from there and get you on the schedule so we can get it done during your deadline.
You'll bring a book with you, right, with some of your work so we can pick out the pond I want?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I guess I'm good with that because the most important thing, I just got to make it happen. I want it to be a surprise.
Sounds great, Steve. Mum's the word around your wife, and we'll look forward to getting this done for you and meeting you Wednesday at lunchtime.
Brian, I'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so Brian, how did you think you did?
Consider comfortable with that.
Say it again, Brian, because you cut off.
Sorry, I had a phone call.
Now you dropped dead.
I consider my level of experience. I felt pretty confident, and listening to Mike earlier and picked up some pointers. So I thought I did pretty good on a scale of 10. I'd say 7 or 8.
And Tom Reaver, how do you think you did?
I think you did a great job, man. I think you sounded good. You sounded confident. You didn't get all squiggly when you brought up money. I think that was good. I think when you talk price, you only gave one price at the bottom and one at the top. I like to hear a bracket, so that way you got some wiggle room on each end.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Your lower end was like, we could probably do something for around 15, but I think, 15 to 20 and, 40 to 50 or whatever, on the top.
Okay. Good advice.
So, hey, Brian, what was in your, what was your, in your opinion, what was the bigger motivator for Steve, pain or pleasure?
Probably pleasure because he wants his wife to be wowed by this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I just made that up on the spot, Brian, but that was my biggest thing. It was just I wanted to be a surprise, and you know what? I didn't really care about the money and all that stuff in my head. And I thought, you did give me a bracket of 15 to 25, and I was cool with all that stuff. My only criticism is the same one I give to almost everybody, Brian, is when you offer to be honest and tell me no if you can't make it happen for the money,
Uh-huh.
and you say, Steve, are you good with that? You need to shut your mouth and let me answer. It's so psychologically important that I go, yes, Brian, I would appreciate you, telling me the truth. Because then they have verbally given you something, right? And you've given them something. And you're about to turn the tables on them and ask for their honesty in return. And since they just verbally said it's okay for you to be honest, there's no way in hell they're going to say, but I get to lie.
They want to
You know what I mean?
reciprocate now.
Yeah, so just let them, this yes or no is the hardest thing. When you say, I'm going to be truthful, are you good with that? Let me answer.
Okay.
Then say, great. Then could you return the favor? And it's a no-brainer at that point. But I really thought you did a really good job. Your pace, your demeanor, your accent, the southern drawl, all of it was awesome for me.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, so that was really good. So that was good. That was great impromptu stuff here. from the group. So anybody else have anything else to chat about, talk about, critique about? So the number one thing here that we're talking about today, okay, to get back this whole head trash thing is practicing with the group here and talking openly and honestly with these group members. This is really just a therapy group that we're in. We all have the same problem. We want to sell more. We want to make more money. We want to love what we do and love our business and not have it run us. So we're all in the same group for the same reasons. And the faster and harder you hit it, the better you're going to be. It's almost like you go on this vacation, right? All inclusive for 1 week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're just getting to know everybody and you're not really opening up. By midweek, you're really starting to open up. And by the end of the week, you're best friends. Well, hell, if you'd have just gone in day one on Monday and opened up immediately, you'd have been best friends by Tuesday and enjoyed the rest of the week, if any of that makes crazy sense. And there's the bell. So, you have anything to add? Did you answer your phone? All right, gang. Tom, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, you have anything to add before we hang up?
No, I'm good, man. Everyone, great job today. Appreciate y'all weighing in, and let's keep it rolling.
All right, thank you, and we'll see you on the Facebook page and next week at the same time. Have a good evening.